the Ashanti region, where we understand the shops have been closed because the dollar rate is biting so hard and the traders are set to demonstrate. William Evans Income joins us now via Zoom. Bill, thank you very much for your time. Good morning.
Good morning for having me, Johnny.
So what exactly is happening? You say dollar, shops, demonstration. Where do we begin?
Well, both. And it's a shutdown in part of Edo, which is the hub of businesses. As far as the Ashanti region is concerned, of course, the central business district is concerned. So as you can see, all you see here is this red banner being decorated with each of the stores as far as their gates are concerned, and that is to situation and the fact that these merchants are not happy about the fact that the dollar is skyrocketing, and of course they are also talking about the cedi, which is fast plummeting, and the dollar, which I mentioned earlier, which is fast rising. Of course, a disparity in the tax regime. They are saying that now they are compelled to pay 18.5% flat rate on all products. That is affecting their businesses. And even beyond that, in order to ensure the execution of this particular directive, the GRA has also detailed their staff at various stores just to ensure full implementation of this particular policy, something they have described as frustrating and also affecting their businesses. But the ultimate, thing that has really triggered this whole thing has to do with the dollar, rising. And they are saying that each passing day, products continue to rise, and that is also affecting, their sales. But Johnny, beyond the core triggers, we are also looking at a fracture of the business chain, because if you come to this particular place, which is the hub for food commodities, and these merchant dealers, they are dealing importation of rice, sugar, and then other food commodities, from outside Ghana. We are talking about a fracture in the chain, as I mentioned earlier. So we're talking about, drivers who have to, ground their vehicles, just as we're saying. These trucks that we're seeing there have full loads of food commodities, rice, which are supposed to be included, but they are still stuck in here because the shops are closed. Now, there are other, headquarters are also not getting any business to do, because unless these trucks full loads of rice are offloaded, for them to also carry to other destinations, right, that's where they also get their revenue. Something for that, but that is also not happening. So there's a fracture in the business chain as far as the CBD Kumasi is concerned.
Bill, you've been speaking to the traders and the shop owners. How long do they intend to keep the stores shut?
As long as government hear their calls. So about 80% of the shops here are closed. And that means a lot to the business community, because this is an informal-based economy. And this is where, like, the local authority draws a large chunk of their revenue from, especially the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. So a closure or a situation like this will affect the revenue generation of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Of course, we also have a rippling effect on the, national economy in terms of their contribution to, the growth, or if you like, this to perhaps, small contribution to the GDP as far as the local economy here is concerned. So it has a lot of rippling effect. And if government refuses to listen to them, they are going to continue with this tangent that we're saying here, and that will mean a lot to the local economy.
I know that, that market would have been very, very busy with the local authorities going around and issuing their tickets and taking monies from them, the tolls. Now, have you cited those officials of the assembly in the market?
Because the background is very noisy, there's a business.
Well, so
the
can you
can't raise the voice.
Well, I'm saying that, well, usually you would find officials of the assembly in the market at this point, giving out their tickets and collecting monies. Have you seen them around this morning?
Well, I've not cited any of the officials here, but I would be surprised that maybe the mayor will attend a meeting with the leadership of the merchant here. I would be surprised because they cannot afford to lose, revenues here. This particular area, enclave, as I told you earlier, is giving the KMA a large chunk of revenue. And they wouldn't want to, gamble on that. So I would be surprised that the mayor of Kumasi is likely to meet the leadership here, and maybe the regional minister will also attempt a meeting. There hasn't been any official communication to that effect, but I wouldn't be surprised looking at the fact that this particular area is very significant to their revenue drive. So I am pretty sure they are not going to gamble with it. But beyond that, Johnny, one other thing that we also will have to be very much concerned about has to do with demand and supply. That is, for instance, the small shop just behind my house, if the owner will have to come here and purchase some rice to be able to refill and then sell it in retail prices to people around, its catchment area as far as operation is concerned, that is going to be very difficult. Because not too long ago, I spoke to, two buyers who came all the way from Sunyani and Techiman. They are here to buy foodstuff and then also supply in their various, operational jurisdictions. But that is not happening, and they are quite frustrated. I spoke to one woman who said, well, if I had known, I wouldn't even afford it myself. But the situation over there, I'm sure, is going to be that. That is, if what we are saying continues.
That enclave is also a stronghold of the ruling government. We do know the role they play in the dynamics of the elections. One would have thought that following the town hall meeting which Akuma FM and Onuya FM had, where you had some elements within the region suggesting that...
Sorry, Johnny, you will do me another favor here. Maybe you have to project me.
Okay, so I'm saying that enclave is a stronghold of the ruling government. That's about 2 weeks ago. Akuma FM and Onuya FM had a town hall meeting, the People's Assembly, where suggestions were made to the point that the government had delivered excellently within that area. Is this for you shocking that a stronghold that says we've experienced the goodness of the government is now closing shops and blocking the chain of flow of commerce just so they can register their displeasure?
I want you to repeat your last question.
So I'm asking, that's a stronghold of the government. 2 weeks ago, Akuma FM and Onuya FM had a town hall meeting where the people suggested that all was well. Today, they are shutting the shops because the dollar is biting. And I'm asking, how do we marry the two? You shocked?
Well, Johnny, this particular question, you would want to attempt an answer from every angle. Maybe if you want to toe the line of politics, then I wouldn't want to use the word shock, but a bit scandalized. If you want to toe the line of typical economy, then perhaps you will want to look at a number of variables here. But the most important thing is that this is a stronghold of the ruling party. And of course, when it comes to responses, even when I was engaging some people, as far as this whole thing is concerned, I'm talking about the main actors in this whole situation. Some were a bit measured in order not to say certain things that will really undermine the fortunes and then, of course, the political credibility of the ruling administration here, because these business guys that we are talking about, I'm talking about here, some of them hold, positions within the current administration, so they are a bit measured. In as much as they are feeling the heat, they also don't want to overly expose their party because they are all in it. So, for instance, one person that I spoke with who had earlier, behind the scenes, talked about the fact that the skyrocketing of the dollar is having a toll on the businesses. When I placed him on camera, he rather started with some level of defensive. like, well, yes, indeed, we know that the dollar is rising, but we have also been told that it's as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war. So we are saying that if government can do something about it, that is fine. But we are not, I'm quoting him. I'm quoting him. So I just want to have a better understanding. We are not too much bothered about that because you know the Russia-Ukraine war is contributing significantly to the rise of the dollar and for that matter, the plummeting of the city. But when it comes to the tax, regime, where we have other grievances as far as that particular enclave is concerned, maybe the government can do something about it. So the differentiator here is that for the skyrocketing of the dollar, which of course is affecting or invariably affecting, a price variation in terms of food inflation, they think that external forces have a hand in it. But when it comes to the tax regime, it is something that the government can do something about it. So that is the kind of responses we are getting from some, especially those that personally I know have direct links politically with the current administration. But the fact of the matter is that, Johnny, what happened 2 weeks ago at NatPor, I can tell you that they were just a fraction of people who are politically inclined. But when you speak to people who are not too much associated with politics, and for that matter, they are not overly attached to any political sentiment, then they will tell you that indeed things are not all that right. And they think that the government or the president, for that matter, will have to do something to change the narrative. In fact, one reference that they have been making is during the COVID-19 period when the president said, when it comes to, resurrecting a dead body, that would be very difficult. But when it comes to resurrecting an economy that is dead, we have the men who will be able to do that. So this is the time that these people are counting on the president to change the narrative as far as our economy, the current state of the economy is concerned.
Indeed, for your time this morning and for the update. We'll come back to you in good time for some more updates. But that's our Bureau Chief, William Evans Income, joining us from the Ashanti region, where fresh information and happening now. A demonstration is imminent. Also, the fact that shops have been closed because the dollar rate is too hard on the pockets of businessmen. Well, let's take a look at the issues as they roll up. But I told you about Ghana's most beautiful. Yesterday was just so amazing. Kwabena here, Stoneboy there, DXL there, the ladies themselves asking questions, dazzling with brilliance, talking about rabies and hospital on wheels, talking about STEM education, rural and urban education, providing the facilities. We will bring you all of that conversation after the break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.